Hello and welcome to Repeat the Question. Time to break down the past 2 weeks in Schmoedown. First, we had the season opener through the three-way of Mike Kalinowski versus Rachel Cushing versus JTE. This was a match that was a star making or proceeding or rising or whatever she's doing. She keeps glowing just like in her Galadriel entrances for Rachel Cushing. Whereas JTE fell back to his stumbling blocks of old. Nothing major misses his way, his whys, whatever you want to say. But he did not win the match through some very elementary misses here and there. Just minor misses. I mean, anyone could make them. But again, JT fell into this trap he always seems to fall into in his singles career. He did it once again. He could not pull out the victory where it counted one more time with some easy misses like his Billy Joel miss. And finally, his hook miss, which I'll admit took me a minute to think about too, but I got it. This was with the match on the line. JT just couldn't pull it out. The real story here is Mike Kalinowski, this was not a great season opener. His first round was one of the worst first rounds you see for any veteran player. Mike Kalinowski's been here for a while, so this type of play just was not a great look for him, especially since it started out with his big new introduction with Brianne Chandler, Miss Movies, as his partner. Not a great start for their secondary chance at a career here in the Schmoedown. This was not a great play by Mike Kalinowski at any point. What this play also did was gave Rachel Cushing the further advantage in the game. JT was not picking up on steals. Cushing was every time where JT was missing. He did not have the focus, that laser sharp focus that Cushing showed here. It was a Dan Murrell style focus we're talking about here. With her precision in play here, it was championship level. Now, she won fair and square, completely, utterly. This was a dominant performance every round, every step of the match. JT played for a while, but he was completely swamped by the sheer number of questions she got, and she stole from Mike. And Mike, he just was not in the same league in this match, unfortunately. And I know Mike can play a lot better than this, but this was not his game. I hope he does better with his team's career with Brianne Chandler. I don't know what that's going to entail exactly. I have a feeling they might be going against Stacey Howard and Jay Washington, but we'll see. Anyways, this leaves Cushing in her championship game against Sam Levine, which one can almost forget with this play that she lost to Sam Levine in a less focused match where she went against Sam Levine and she stumbled. I wonder what Rachel Cushing then are we going to see? Is this a new definite Rachel Cushing? Because Cushing has fumbled a couple of times. The time she's lost is because she doesn't have that focus, that laser focus she had here. So I think we could see either her win against Sam Levine or lose based on just kind of losing step with that laser focus that we've seen in this match and we've seen in other matches with her. This was probably her best played match, period. Hopefully she'll bring that against Levine, or else she's likely to lose against Levine again. Managed to beat her fairly soundly. I think he had a couple questions left, or just a 5-pointer when he beat her. So either way, he had a considerable advantage. We also have not seen Cushing play in a championship match before where Sam Levine has proven himself in the speed round, so that'll give him another advantage. And Cushing again can come back, laser focus play. Sam Levine, how he's been playing, he should be able to defend his belt. We'll see. Sometimes Sam Levine also can seem like he's kind of half there a little bit of the time, doesn't really focus. So it'll depend. It's the game. This match will be the match of focus. It's not really going to be so much luck based. It's going to be who comes to play, who really comes to play. That's who's going to win. Following that, we had the #1 contender match between Top 10 and Top That. Now this was an incredible match in every way possible. I will say again, this goes into my whole long theory here of the easier matches, easier questions within Schmoedown, because they're definitely not as hard as they're getting. They're actually eased up, particularly in round 1 questions. This has allowed for another flawless round of Matt Nost and John Roca not taking anything from what they did here, because they certainly hit all these questions, and not all of them were obvious. Luca Brasi was a great pull. I mean, I knew it, of course, but in the moment, you could easily forget it, as Jim from IGN easily did. Nothing against Top That. Their performance was also terrific. Eric Goldman and Jim kept playing incredibly well. There was a couple of slight misses on Eric Goldman's part, but nothing too major. They really performed quite admirably. Their one major mistake was Top 10 missing, getting opponent's choice, and IGN not exploiting that properly by giving them one of their strengths, although that didn't quite hit them as hardly as they thought it might have. And they were able to gain steam back because they got comical as well. In the final round, though, it was just a tit for tat, and they both missed their 3-pointers, so either way, it was a great performance by both, only the most minor of mistakes in the match for either one. They really performed incredibly well, so Top That has no reason to hang their head low. Hopefully they can get a match that gets them right back on track. Frankly, they deserve to be. Now here's Top 10. Top 10 is the team that frustrates you, because every time they give a match like this, and by the way, I think there's some extra credence to the idea of Matt Nost doing the Top 10 podcast again, does improve his play. Matt Nost is a guy, though, who needs to come in with enough sleep to play the game properly, and he definitely had it here. He had that focus focus to win the game. The question is, will they have that for the final game against the Patriots? First time they fought the Patriots, they had it because they easily could have won. All it was taken was Magnolia from Matt Nost. It was an easy miss on his part. They could have beaten the Patriots in the first round, so it's not a unforeseeable future. However, the Patriots beat them soundly the second round through some easy mistakes, and Matt Nost just was not on his best day that day, nor was Roca for that matter. Both of them really faltered again and again. So the question is, what top 10 are we going to see in the championship match? Is it going to be the one who beat the Schmoes? Is it going to be the one we just saw with this match? Then they're going to win. Otherwise, really though, I have to bet on the Patriots. How can anyone not bet on the Patriots? They just won again and again and again. I think top 10 is the one who could take them down. They certainly could. The Patriots have not been undefeatable by any means. They've always come close to losing against above the line. It was a 5-pointer miss. That was it. They could have won. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, it was in sudden death. So it's not as though in Team Track they actually should have beat them with Jason Inman's answer of Eva. But nonetheless, Patriots have gotten the luck on their side, and they definitely have the skill. Nothing to disparage against their skills nonetheless. But they can't be defeated. Top 10 comes in ready to play. This could be the time they finally lose. We'll have to see when that match happens. Finally, we had a singles match between Lon, the Professor Harris, and Cody, Peter Parker, Hall. So, this match was built up through the spectacular. It's really a storyline match of the professor with the big head and his pupil who begrudgingly goes into a match despite not knowing much about movies. And with this storyline in mind, we got this match, which was somewhat built around this idea within the questions themselves. Now, I'm not putting on too much of a tinfoil hat because I do not think the match was fixed by any margin, not even for a moment. What I do think, though, is they purposely picked questions in the first round that both Cody and Lon could get. Lon, it was completely his own fault that he didn't get some easy answers there, and that was totally on him. Cody being able to get all those questions, though, I think those questions were written to give Cody a little bit of help. Again, Lon should have been able to get those answers. They both should have had perfect rounds, frankly. But again, I do think there was a little tweaking in the questions. I don't think Cody knew them. I don't think anything like that. But they wanted to make it competitive. That was definitely true. Just call it a handicap match, I guess. But they wanted to make it competitive. Besides, this was not a great showing for Lon Harris, who frankly in this match proved to me he's not going to be a top tier contender, I'm sorry to say, because he certainly has an entertaining enough character, and the back and forth between him and Cody was very enjoyable in this match, particularly with the occasional interruptions by the crowd, or more like frequent interruptions by the crowd, cheering on the underdog Cody throughout. However, Lon Harris and Cody both did not perform well in the second round. Lon Harris got a weakness of family films, and Cody got a weakness of the classics after spinning an opponent's choice. Lon, however, did not prove himself this great genius of a professor in classics. He didn't know that Claude Rains played the bad senator in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. He didn't know that John Huston directed Moby Dick with Orson Welles and Gregory Peck. These are classics that a professor of cinema or whatever he's supposed to be a professor of really should know. He's talking about German Expressionism. How about just general film history of American? I think he would know a little bit better than he proved here, and all he did was show that he's not a top tier. The top tier contenders usually have a stronger classic knowledge, which he does not have, and he does not make it up for the fact that he doesn't know that much about, we'll say, superfluous 90s movie knowledge that Cody also messed up a bit with, too, with his answer of not knowing what turtles, pizza, that Michelangelo got in the original Turtles. Again, neither of them proved that they were these great players. It was an entertaining match, though, which is in the end the most important thing, even though league building is nice, as well as narrative building for a fighter, but I don't think either of these two are going to be in any championship matches, and I don't know, they might be making a team or something. That would be kind of interesting, I guess. But this was not a great match in terms of, we'll say, the expression of talent in the Schmoedown, but it was an entertaining match in terms of the back and forth between the players and just the engagement level by reaching a sudden death match, which was the one place where Lon Harris proved himself some knowledge of the classics by knowing 1776, but again, maybe he just is really into Broadway music too. Either way, entertaining match, but not the best match when it comes to showing off promising new players. That's it for this episode of Repeat the Question. Thank you for listening.